All right, so Easter was recently, and I noticed your post on your channel. You posted something religious, and
Religious.
I know you
Okay.
on a personal level. I asked you before what you're comfortable sharing. By the way, I never want anyone to feel like this is like we are Pixel Game Squad. We hang out with guys all different ages, all different religions, all different political affiliations. Your wife's black, your wife's Filipino, you're Filipino, your wife's Filipino.
Wow.
There is no. I'm just saying.
So many Filipinos.
So all Filipinos?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Wow.
Maybe we aren't so diverse. No, but basically, we've always been very like there is no like a religious like you need to believe this, you need to
Right.
think this about COVID, you need to think that about this political party.
Yeah.
Like we don't care. But I thought it was interesting when you posted something about Easter.
Yeah.
I know what you do for a living. I'll let you, if you want to, go ahead and
Oh,
say
yeah,
that.
100%.
And we can kind of talk about our experience too, with kind of where faith. Again, this is just a conversation about it. We're not trying to. You guys better either subscribe or convert by the end of the video. That's not what's happening here.
Subscribe or convert. Those are the two options.
That's our new end phrase. But yeah, tell me about what you do and
Yeah.
how
So
it plays into your.
the best way to say it is I'm a worship leader. So basically, what that means is I play music at a church. So we're at a contemporary church where it's not like, I don't know how people have grown up, but like you have like the little old church and the pews, and like that's probably the opposite of what you would probably envision with our church. It's like
Because in Arkansas,
because we're in Arkansas.
everyone's
Right?
like,
No, because it's like
four guys and a banjo.
no, but you have like it's like there's a whole lighting crew. We're streaming all over the world, for these live services. So it's a little bit different than people might think of what it is. But when I say people, I remember I went to my 10-year reunion. My friends came up to me. They're like, "You're like a priest, right?" I'm like, what? I'm like, no,
I
man.
think we said that this morning, Rick. Are you a pastor?
I'm like, no,
Pastor
man.
Rick?
I play music at a church, man. It's like the best thing ever. They're like, oh, that's cool. So
So it's obviously a huge part of your life. It's ingrained in
Yeah.
who you are. It's what you do. Has your faith ever played into any sort of way within your YouTube channel?
yeah. So I've always looked at it like, I feel like people tend to look at it as like, where are you at in your beliefs? Like, is it God is first, and then you hear like, then it's your family, then it's your job. Our pastor has always done a good job of being like, it's like those things. It's your family. It's Retro Games Plus. It's the game store, and in the like God is in all those things. Like he's my priority within those things.
Within those
like
things.
yeah, with like honoring him with how I work hard, how I treat people, all those types of things. It's like it's the forefront of what I do in all aspects. How I treat my kids.
Got it.
How I do all those types of things. So it's not like, oh yeah, I do church on the weekend, and then these are all the other things. It just is all encompassing thing. For me, I'm a Christ follower. So
Yeah.
like I try to live my life Christ-like. That's what
yeah.
That's what a Christian means. So yeah.
Yeah, I know us for our channel. I mean, when we started in the beginning, we're Christians. We went to the same. We went to a Christian high school together. Ricky went there because his family had money. I went there because my dad was a janitor.
Nice.
Dude, your dad's awesome. I love your dad.
Yeah, Curtis and my dad got along very well. And they had some great conversations. But when we started YouTube, it was in about 2012. And the retro game scene was great. There was a lot of great stuff, tons of great guys. But when we came in, we verbally made an agreement together. Like, we want to be a change in the community. Not that we're good. We will never we've always said we'll never be in a pedestal, but we've always wanted to be an example. And of course, we fail all the time. We're humans. We say things all the time we shouldn't, even on the show and stuff like that. But we were forefronting it at the front of what we do. We want to, and NES Complex was a part of that too.
That's true.
He was like, hey, we need to be different. We need to be different. We want people to ask. We want people to feel comfortable asking, about what we do. And I'm sure, what other religions
y'all do a really good job. I think like the way y'all live out your faith never feels pushy, but it does feel genuine. Like, yeah, that's who they are. They believe that, and I feel comfortable with whatever belief they may have. It's like, you can commingle and be in the same room, not be weird.
It was interesting when we started to, a lot of the guys we talked to, we didn't know.
Yeah. So many.
It just started people were like, hey, are you guys Christians? Me too. Another YouTuber, me too. Another YouTuber. Me too.
I love how subtle it is.
Oh, well, yeah, they like, you know, they're
Like
like
a secret.
it's like secret society. Like you go up and do like the secret handshake. I know Chris worships Satan, and he's looking at me different right now.
Satan.
Are you a believer in anything or not? This
Yeah,
isn't literally.
absolutely. No, I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic and went to Catholic church. My mom was a Catholic school teacher, so
Wow.
like she taught Catholic.
Did you ever get spanked with a ruler?
No,
No
no,
more spankings.
no. My mom is great. No, she just was a very wholesome, church-loving woman, and so she taught classes. And my dad still is very faithful, goes to church all the time.
So he's pretty strict with it.
Yeah, myself, not so much anymore, and my wife neither. We go maybe a couple times a year. My wife is Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So, which is also Christian, in case you didn't know that, but just a different outlook on Christianity. So I'll go to the Jehovah's Witnesses meetings. I actually like some of those, but just a couple times a year.
You knocked on my door.
No, I do not do that. She is not practicing, so we don't do any of the knocking on the door stuff. But my take on faith is I felt like growing up with it, I gained such an appreciation for what I was taught, you know, from Jesus and the teachings. To really, what I took away from it is just be a good person. And I feel like I don't necessarily need to go to church. Or no offense to, like, I love the singing and that stuff is awesome.
Worship pastors are the worst.
But I don't feel like I need to do that. I feel like as long as I'm a good person and that's what Jesus wanted you to be, then that's how I interpret all of it. And that's what I
if
took
you
away from
notice
it.
what we're doing here, we're not like, oh no, dude, that's actually like this. That's not what this is for. That's not what this is for right now. To be like, well, really, I mean, this is probably the Jehovah. You technically can't
Come
be
join
that.
my
and
church.
It's not really like it's not. That's not what this is about. It was just I just thought it was interesting because it was so weird to us when we came in and like I mean, not to name drop people like Phoenix Resale was as a believer and. Chips at the Right Price, and NES Complex, Generation Gap Gaming, and John Lester, Game Illustrated 1. It was just weird to like, it's almost like people weren't like, is it like closeted about it, but people like never said anything. So it was interesting to us when we did it and like kind of did our best to be a good example. I feel like we started to hear it.
We're the Disney Game Chasers.
We were the Disney Game Chasers, is what they called us in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of, Jay was the first one to say that.
First one.
He's like, you guys are us. I think he used some F words in there somewhere, but the Disney Game Chasers. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. I'll take it. Well, I don't know about anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Disney anymore.
I think the reason why we brought up this topic was just because on one of your community posts, you had posted something kind of religious, and you had pretty good outreach. Like a lot of people were just kind of like, wow. Like not a lot of people know your background either as like coming up into the scene.
I don't like talk about. I'm not like every video. I'm talking about how I'm a worship pastor and things like that, worship leader. So yeah, it just
Did you get a consensus for the when you posted that? Was there like, was it half and half, or do you think people who didn't agree just kind of said, was there any?
I just stopped looking at it.
Okay.
There was definitely some negative, like, why are you bringing this into it? And
Which-
things
What
like
did you
that.
post exactly?
I just posted
It was
like
during Easter.
yeah, just like the cross and like
Okay.
crown of thorns and just like what Easter meant for the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's like my faith is literally my life. Like that's my life.
Yeah.
Like so that's what's so helpful with even doing YouTube and these types of things. Like I don't freaking care.
Yeah.
Like it's the interactions that I'm having with people and like being able to what Christians say is like be Jesus to people.
Yeah.
Like just love people really, really well.
Remember when WWJD bracelets were all the rage?
To bring them back.
What would Jesus do bracelets? You ever see those?
I don't remember those. No.
Catholics.
Yeah. So I mean it's just a huge part of my life. So
Wow.
that's why I did it.
And I think that's pretty cool and interesting topic just because it's like you don't have to fake yourself being who you are on YouTube, and it's just like an awesome thing that you're able to like have that audience for yourself as well.
Yeah.
But
I
also,
think it came off very authentic with you. Like
Yeah.
you felt real. I don't know if it was your Southern charm, like I said, really mixed with it or something, but you just had, I think you pointed it out to me, Curtis, one time. You're like, we said something about Retro Rick, and you're like, you can just tell he's
it has that
something.
genuine personality about him, and I hadn't even met him in person yet. You know what I mean? And you could just tell the authenticity that someone has, that they don't have to fake anything on camera or off camera.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing.
Our biggest example, and again, people who aren't believers, again, totally whatever, won't think this is a good thing. But for us, one of our biggest moments ever in our lives was, like we told the story earlier, of meeting Gabbo and, just found out who he was. And, we never had a mission of like, we're going to make this guy converted. But Ricky and I also, as Christian brothers,
Yeah.
we're like, hey, we should be a light to him as often as we can, because there was things that, his perspective was a lot different in life. We never even asked him what he was, but it was very apparent he was nothing. And we're just like, dude, we need to love him like he's never been loved. Like when he fails, love him. When he does this, love him. When he says his friends talk to him this way, love him. And it was crazy. It was about how long after?
It wasn't that much farther. What was it, like
3.5 years, maybe 4 years.
Really cool.
He reached out to us one day and started asking us some questions. And I'm like, I'm never going to pressure you, bro. That's not my thing. That's not what I'm trying to do. And before we knew it, he was like, hey, I'm thinking about this. And then 1 week, he doesn't talk to us for a week. And we're like, dude, he hates us. We ruined his life. Like we did something in his life. Wow. And he goes, dude, I went on a trip and I accepted God. And I was like,
cool.
And he was like crying, everything. It was a big scene. And again, for us, it was like a big moment for us because I think it felt very valid. Like it just felt good for us to know that there was zero pressure. I mean, ever. There was no forcefulness in us ever. It was just treating him like we wanted to treat him. Like you said, try to be, again, make this very clear to people.
Oh, yeah.
Fail daily, fail hourly on being what I strive to be. Failing, that's part of it. But, so.